So you want to own a McDonald's? Why not? You wouldn't have to convince anyone of anything. No product to invent. No brand to build. No one to beg for trust. Everybody already knows exactly what you sell and already loves it. And they show up non-stop, rain or shine, good economy or bad. A single average McDonald's in America now pulls in more than $4 million a year out of one small building with a drive-thru. Do it well, and you don't stop at one. You own 3. You own 10? That's how real fortunes get built. So let's talk about how you actually get there. Because at its heart, a McDonald's is a food business. And every food business, from a tiny cafe to the Golden Arches, needs the same handful of things. Get them right and you can feed a whole city. So let's build yours, piece by piece. First, you need a place. And not just any place. In fast food, location is everything. You want a busy corner. Heavy traffic. Easy in and out for the drive-thru. The right spot can do double the sales of a bad one. So you find your corner and you lock it down. Then you need the building itself. The dining room, the counter, the drive-thru lane, the big glowing sign, the seating. It all has to be built and fitted out to an exact standard. This is where a lot of your money is going to go. Next, the machines. Because this is a kitchen built for speed. The grills. The fryers. The shake and ice cream machines. The fridges and freezers. The registers and the screens. Heavy commercial equipment built to run hard all day for years. Then the materials. The food itself. The beef, the buns, the potatoes, the oil, the drinks. Plus the cups, the wrappers, the bags, the napkins. A constant river of supplies arriving every single day to replace everything you sell. And finally, the people. You can't run any of this alone. You need a crew. People to cook, to serve, to clean, to work the drive-thru through every rush. You hire them. You train them. You schedule them. And you keep them. A place. Building. The machines. The materials. And the people. Get those 5 and you can serve food. And so far, that's the same as almost any restaurant on earth. But here's the one thing that makes this completely different. There's a 6th thing you need, and a normal restaurant never does. You need a license. Because you can't just build a burger place and paint golden arches on the front. That brand is not yours. To use the name, the recipes, the whole system, you need McDonald's to give you permission. And that license is the real key to everything. So how do you actually get it? This is where it gets serious. McDonald's does not hand that license to just anyone with money. You have to qualify. And the first test is cash. They want to see around $500,000 that is liquid and yours and not borrowed. Real money in the bank. That test alone stops most people before they even begin. Clear that, and you still have to be chosen. You go through a long approval process. You spend months in training, unpaid, learning the business from the fryer up. You work real shifts in a real restaurant to prove that you can. Only after all of that will they approve you for a license of your own. So now, what does all of this cost? Let's add it up. For the license itself, there's a flat franchise fee. $45,000 paid straight to McDonald's. But that's just your entry ticket. Add the building, the equipment, and everything else we just listed, and the total to open the doors usually lands between $1.5 and $2.5 million. So you pay it, and you get your license. You build your store. You hire your crew. And finally, the doors open and the money starts to flow. This is the moment you are working toward. But here's what you need to know before you get there. Holding that license comes with a bill. And it arrives every single month for as long as you own the store. This is where the real economics of McDonald's live. So let's follow the money, because understanding this is what separates the winners from everyone else. Every month, McDonald's takes a cut of your sales. First is the royalty. Around 5% of everything you sell, just for using the name and the system. Then another slice, roughly 4%, goes into the National Advertising Fund. That's what pays for all those ads you grew up on. So right away, close to 9% of your total sales goes back to McDonald's, straight off the top. But those two are the ordinary bills. There is a third payment, and it's the biggest and the most surprising of all. And it's rent. Because in most cases, McDonald's owns the land and the building your store sits on. Not you. You lease it from them. And McDonald's rent does not work like normal rent. Instead of a fixed amount, they charge you a percentage of your sales. So the more you sell, the more rent you pay. Depending on the location, that can run from around 8% of sales to more than 20%. Let's put real numbers on it. Say your store does that $4 million and your rent is set at 10%. That is $400,000 a year. In rent alone. Now stack the royalty and the ad fund on top, and you can be handing McDonald's 15 to 20% of everything you sell. All of that before you've paid for a single burger or a single worker. And this reveals the secret at the very center of the company. McDonald's builds its brand on burgers, but it makes its real money as a landlord. Look at what franchisees pay the company every year. Around $13 billion. Roughly 2/3 of that is rent. Only about 1/3 is the royalty for the name. McDonald's earns more being your landlord than being your brand. In fact, the company sits on a real estate empire worth around $42 billion, spread across more than 40,000 locations. About 93% of those stores are run by franchisees. By people like you. Not by McDonald's itself. You run the restaurant. They own the ground beneath it. And none of this was an accident. Back in 1956, a man named Harry Sonneborn saw the real move. His idea was simple. Have McDonald's control the land and the building for every location. Then lease it back to the franchisee, with the rent tied to their sales. He said it out loud. McDonald's wasn't really in the food business. It was in the real estate business. The burgers were just the best way to produce the sales that paid the rent. That one idea turned a small burger stand into a giant. So, after all of that, what's actually left for you, the owner? After the royalty, the ad fund, the rent, and then your own costs, the food, the labor, the utilities, the repairs, your take-home is often a single-digit percentage of sales. On a strong store, that is still a solid six-figure income. And here's the key. Build up several good stores, run them well, and you can absolutely get rich. Thousands of families have done exactly that. The difference between the people who win at this and the people who don't comes down to one thing. Understanding the real game before you start. Most people walk in thinking they are simply buying a burger business. Now you know the truth. You are buying a license to operate on land you rent from the most successful landlord on earth. Know that going in, and you can play it smart. You pick the right location. You run a tight, disciplined operation. You build your empire one store at a time with your eyes fully open. Because owning a McDonald's was never really about the burger. The burger is just how you pay the rent. And once you understand that, you understand how the whole machine makes money. And how you can too.